What's up, everybody? It's your boy TTG, and I'm back here with another video. Today, we have another college football playoff breakdown. You know, I go in depth with it. I give you some stats, and then I give you my thoughts. You know what I mean? So without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it. But first, listen to this insert about subscribing to the channel. Stop what you're doing right now and click the subscribe button. I'm doing a giveaway. If I can hit 1,000 subs before January 1st, I'm giving away a jersey of your choice. You can have this great jersey if it's still for sale. I don't know. But a jersey of your choice to one of my subscribers. Please click the subscribe button. Appreciate you guys. All right. And as well as subscribing to the channel, I need you to like, comment, and click the bell notification to get notified when I post. We're on the road to 1K subs. And let me see, what should you comment today? Comment who you think is going to win the Ohio State-Oregon game, because that's what we're going over today. We are going over the number 8 seed Ohio State versus the number 1 seed Oregon, a rematch from earlier in the year, and it was a great game earlier in the year. This game is taking place on New Year's Day, 5 p.m. in the Rose Bowl. No better venue in college football to host this rematch than the Rose Bowl. Now, Ohio State will enter the contest 11-2. Their losses were to Oregon, which 1-point loss on the road. A lot of Ohio State fans, and myself included, I'm not an Ohio State fan, but I think you should have won that ball game. I know Ohio State fans feel like they should have won it. Some bad clock management at the end by Will Howard. And yeah, a lot of things kind of went Oregon's way that game. I feel like Ohio State was the better team that day, but the better team doesn't always win. So hats off to Dan Lanning for winning the first matchup. And then, of course, the weird loss to Michigan. I mean, just the more I look at it, the more it befuddles me. And then their biggest wins, in my opinion, Penn State. That was a good win. Hard-fought game. I think that was in Happy Valley, in State College, if I'm not mistaken. It actually, I don't know where it was at, to be honest. Indiana, I know that one was at Ohio State. Pretty good win there. And then Tennessee, also at Ohio State, first round of the playoff. Good win for Ohio State. Oregon, 13-0, the only undefeated team left in college football. Biggest wins, Penn State in the Big 12 or Big 10 title game. Pretty good game there. Ohio State, great win at home, 1-point win. And then Illinois. So, in my opinion, I feel like these teams haven't really been challenged in the Big Ten. I feel like the Big Ten is better than it usually is, but I feel like it's top heavy. Kind of like the SEC is kind of top heavy in my opinion. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to do what we do every time. We're going to jump straight into it, and I'm going to break it down piece by piece, and we're going to start with the Ohio State offense. So Ohio State scores 36 points per game. That's 8th nationally. Pretty good offense, potent offense. We know they have some really good running backs. Pretty good quarterback, some really good pass catchers. Total offense, 427 yards per game. That's 24th nationally. Pretty good. The offense is pretty good. The only time I will say that I thought the offense was like, what the hell are they doing? That was the Michigan game. And I think that was more game planning than it was execution. I think the game plan was just horrendous. Third down. This is one of my stats I like. Ohio State, 42.4 conversion percentage as far as third down goes. Third downs are crucial, and I explain this every video. They're crucial because your drive is on the verge of either stalling and you having to punt, or maybe even go for it on fourth down, or continuing the drive and hopefully it ending in points. So, with that being said, I think Ryan Day and Chip Kelly have done a really good job with the offense outside of the Michigan game, obviously. They know what they're doing. Will Howard's been pretty good for them. Running backs have been okay. I think the running backs are good. I think the offensive line struggled a lot of the year to run the ball. But here recently, they've been running it a lot better. And, of course, you got some great pass catchers out there. So, with that being said, let's jump into some players to look out for on the offense for Ohio State. Obviously, like I said in the last video and the video before that, the quarterback's always going to be a pivotal part of any offense. Will Howard, transfer from Kansas State. He's looked pretty good at Ohio State. Nothing that like jumps off the tape at you until, I mean, he looked really good in the Oregon game too, I guess, until the final minute or whatever it was. But he looked really good against Tennessee. Really good against Tennessee. 311 yards, 2-touchdown game against Tennessee. The deep ball was hitting. And when they hit the deep balls, I don't know that there's a team in the country that can stop it. I'm just going to be real with you. The people outside they got Emeka Egbuka. They've got Jeremiah Smith, Cornell Tate, G. Scott's a pretty good tight end. They got playmakers everywhere, man. So Will Howard's done a great job, in my opinion. Another one to look out for are the two running backs. We'll start with Travion Henderson. Travion Henderson, I thought was more of like a power back, but in the Tennessee game, he looked explosive. But he's got some speed, he's got some agility, and the two-headed monster they have is unreal. So this year, Travion has 118 carries, 831 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So a pretty solid season, especially splitting carries with Quinshawn. The guys have complemented each other well. And next, obviously, we're going to talk about Quinshawn Judkins. I think he's a little bit more of a home run threat. But, yeah, he's been pretty good, in my opinion. They complement each other well. They're very similar. I think maybe, if I had to pick one, I think maybe Travion is a little more of a power back and Quinshawn is more of a home run threat. I think I've said that before, too. But this year, Quinshawn has had 157 rushes, 839 yards, 10 touchdowns. So a little bit more touchdowns for Quinshawn. And he's got 400 yards receiving as well, 4 touchdowns. So pretty good on that front as well. I think he probably is a little bit better out the backfield. Then you got, in my opinion, the best freshman in the country, Jeremiah Smith at wideout. I think he's their best wide receiver. He's probably one of the best wide receivers in the country, regardless of class, but definitely the best freshman, in my opinion. He's already got eclipsed 1,000 yards. He went crazy in the Tennessee game. He's got to over 12 touchdowns already. The kid is unreal. I've never seen a freshman, and maybe this is just recency bias. It may have happened plenty of times, and I just don't remember. But I don't remember a freshman being this impactful on a team like Ohio State of that caliber in a long time. And then I just want to highlight, this is not a player to look out for, but I do want to talk about their offensive line. Like I said early in the year, they had a bunch of injuries. They struggled to run the ball, but it seems like they've found their footing with the few guys they got left. And it's just a credit to Justin Fry. I think that's the offensive line coach. They've created rushing lanes. They protected Will Howard. You saw it in the Tennessee game against one of the better defenses they've seen all year. Tennessee, that is. And they look great. So shout out to the O-line. I think that's going to be a pivotal role in this rematch. And I was almost going to tell you who I thought was going to win. We're not going to do that yet. Let's talk about Oregon's offense. Points per game. So not quite as good as Ohio State, right? Oh, actually a little bit better. A little bit better. Okay. 36.9, 7th nationally. Really good offense. Yards per game, 446.8, which is 12th nationally, so better than Ohio State in that one too. Let's see. According to what I have right here, they rush the ball 53% of the time. Rushing yards per game, 177.3, 37th nationally, so a pretty solid run offense. But the pass offense, I think, is where you see it at. Completion percentage, 72% completion percentage, number 2 in the country. Pretty good. Passing yards per game, 269.5, 17th nationally. Quarterback sack percentage, they allow a quarterback sack on 2.65% of the plays, 6th nationally. I mean, this offense has been pretty good all year. Now, I think it was the first couple games right before they got to the Boise State game, I was like, there's no way this is a top 10 team in the country. But credit to Dan Lanning and credit to, I think Stein is their offense coordinator, maybe? I can't remember. I'm not even going to look it up. But credit to both of them, Dan Lanning and Stein. I think that's his name. For getting that offense right. They've looked great. Now, let's talk about some players to watch on Oregon's offense. Dillon Gabriel, obviously. Senior transfer from Oklahoma, has looked great. He's that veteran leadership you look to on offense that can make plays and be a leader in the locker room and in the huddle, obviously, command respect. 3,500 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, 73% completion percentage. Kid's an animal. Now, they're going to throw a lot of short game and let their playmakers make plays. I think that's how he amassed a lot of his passing yards. Like I said, he's an excellent leader. He's accurate, good decision maker, and he's pretty clutch, too, if I had to say that. Centerpiece of the Ducks offense, obviously. Ohio State's going to want to get after him, get him uncomfortable. Another player to watch, running back, Jordan James. This guy's, I think, is a little underrated. 1,200 yards, 226 carries, 1,200 yards, 226 carries, 5.5 yards per carry. Pretty impressive. He's a powerful but shifty guy. He's going to grind out those yards on the ground. He can also hit a home run on you if you don't wrap up. I think he's going to be a workhorse in this game. They're going to look to establish the run game to open up the pass game, obviously. And then they've got a pair of wide receivers I want to highlight. Trayshawn Holden, wide receiver. He's a senior, one of the leaders on the team, one of the leaders in the locker room. He leads the team in receptions and receiving yards. He's a deep threat with strong hands, and he can go up and get it contested. And it seems like him and Gabriel are on the same page a lot. Like Gabriel knows where this kid's going to be before this kid knows where he's going to be. You know what I mean? And then lastly, Evan Stewart, sophomore, Texas A&M transfer. He may not be leading the team in receptions or receiving yards, but he's a playmaker. He's electric. I wouldn't say he's like a home run deep threat like Trayshawn Holden. He can, though. He's very fast. If he gets behind you, it's game's over. But he's one of those guys that can take a screen 70 yards to the house. So watch out for Evan Stewart. Now let's talk a little bit about defense here. Defense is what they say wins championships. We'll start with Ohio State. Ohio State's defense is allowing just 11.4 points per game. Impressive. This Silver Bullet defense is one of the best units in the country. It seems like I say that a lot. I said that about Penn State. I said it about Texas, but they're all true. It's no secret that some of the best defenses are still left in the college football playoff. So for total defense, they've only allowed 1,300 yards rushing and 1,100 yards passing on the entire year. That's crazy when you think they've played, 13 games? They're 11-2, I think, something like that. That's crazy. So for the rushing defense, they only allow around 100 yards a game. Pretty effective. I think there is room to improve there. Passing defense, 148 yards passing per game. Unreal. Caleb Downs, who was the other one? I can't remember their other safety's name. Pair of safeties back there that are going to get after it. They can come up, make tackles in the run game, and they help you in the throw game as well. Some players to watch out for Ohio State's defense. JT Tiamoliau. I think that's how you say his name. Dude's an animal. He can rush the passer, constant disruptor in the backfield, even during run plays. You saw what he did. He disrupted the backfield against Tennessee in the first round of the playoffs. The kid's an animal. He can just play. Number 2, Sonny Styles. I like Sonny Styles a lot, and I'll tell you why I like Sonny Styles. He's versatile. He can cover in the throw game, come up and run support, and he's very athletic. Yeah, I expect him to make a lot of plays. I think he slept on a little bit on that defense, in my opinion. Caleb Downs is next. The kid is one of the best defensive backs in the country for a reason. Did he win that? What do you call it? The Thorpe Award? Who won the Thorpe Award? Give me just a second. I got to look. I think he might have won the Thorpe Award. Okay, he did not. Jadae Barron won the Thorpe Award. Regardless, I think Caleb Downs was the finalist for it. Can cover, can come up and make a tackle. He's just an athletic specimen. He's going to return kicks as well. All around great player, great kid. Transfer in from Alabama. So far the move's paid off. Ohio State's in the playoff. Alabama's on. So you say what you want to about the kid, about his loyalty. The kid can play. Just straight up can play. It is what it is. And then we're going to go Lathan Ransom. That's the other safety. Again, just like Caleb Downs, reliable in the run game and the pass game. He can get it done both ways. He's very athletic. And those two anchoring the safety position in your defensive backfield, along with Denzel Burke, I'm going to bring him up. He's not one of my players to watch, but he's also a cornerstone of that defense. The defense as a whole just gets after it, and I enjoy watching them. I can't wait to see what they do with Oregon's offense. All right. Oregon defense. Now, I think they may be a little underrated. I don't think they're one of the best units in the country, but they are. I think they're underrated. I think they're good. The Ducks are 9th nationally, 16.7 or 16.1 points per game. Impressive. Passing defense, 171 yards per game. Not quite as good as Ohio State's, but still, that's pretty good. Rushing defense, 112 yards per game, 22nd nationally. Not as good as Ohio State again, but that's solid. That really is. I think their defense is probably a little underrated. I've said it 100 times. I'm going to say it 100 more before the game happens. Players to watch for Oregon's defense. Bryce Botcher, linebacker. He leads the Ducks in total tackles. He's versatile, again, against defending the run and the pass. He can cover a tight end. Sometimes they even line him up against a slot receiver. He'll cover them too. He's a leader and a playmaker. I think it's going to be crucial and containing Ohio State's offense. He's a guy that's you can have on the field on any down and distance. So he's crucial in my opinion. Let's go Jabbar Muhammad. We'll go Jabbar Muhammad. He's a player that's been around for a while. Key player in the secondary. His football IQ's through the roof. And I think he's going to probably be the guy that's trying to cover Jeremiah Smith if I had to guess. They could line up the other guy over there, but I would assume it's going to be Jabbar Muhammad. And maybe they just let whoever's on that side of the field cover whoever. Maybe they're that confident. We'll see. And, last but not least for Oregon, Matayo Uiagalelei. I think that's how you say his name. DJ's little brother. He's one of their better pass rushers, probably the best passer rusher on the Ducks defense. So his job is going to be to disrupt Will Howard and not let him get off the deep throws that he was able to get against Tennessee. That's going to be vital in that game. All right, let's jump a little bit in. Let's look a little bit at the coaches. We'll start with Dan Lanning, 35-5 at Oregon. Not too shabby. But before Oregon, I think everybody remembers he was the defense coordinator at Georgia 2018 to 2021. Won a national championship. He won one national championship with Georgia. He was the defense coordinator for that dominant defense in 2021. They were unreal. Before that, he was at Memphis. He was at Alabama for a little bit, and he was at Sam Houston State. That's where he started up. I think Dan's a high energy coach. I think players love to play for him. He emphasizes discipline, physicality, and toughness, in my opinion. That's what his teams are known for. He's a defensive guru. As a coordinator at Georgia, obviously that has tremendous success. Now, learning under one of the best ever, Kirby Smart, in my opinion, could be a reason for that. But I think he understands modern day offenses as well, because to be a great DC, you have to understand what the offense is trying to do. So that makes him a well-rounded coach, in my opinion. Now, Ryan Day, 67-10 at Ohio State. Pretty impressive, right? That's pretty good. He's one of the best coaches in the country. Let's not pretend just because he hasn't won the big one. Still one of the best coaches in the country. He recruits top-tier talent. He develops that talent, and he puts on a good product on the field. Now, has he lost some games he should have won? 100%. Look at Michigan for this year, for example. Should have won that game. But before he was the head man at Ohio State, he was at Ohio State as the OC and quarterbacks coach. Did a pretty good job there. Before that, Boston College. And before that, San Francisco 49ers. He was in the NFL. So, yeah, two great coaches. It'll be fun to see what they game plan and scheme up for each other coming up for this game. Now we're going to break down each position, and I'll tell you who I think's got the advantage at each position. Quarterback. This one's kind of close. I just think Gabriel's played more college football. He's more of a veteran, and he's more accurate and less likely to ruin the game for his team. So I'm going to go Gabriel as far as quarterback goes over Will Howard. Running back. This one was tough too. I'm going to take the duo of Judkins and Henderson over James. I just think two is always better than one. If James was to go down, I don't know if I'm sure his backup's still good, this Oregon, but his backup isn't going to be to the likes of either a Quinshon Judkins or a Trevion Henderson. So I'll take the duo of Henderson and Judkins. Wide receiver. This one took me a little while just to think about. Overall, I think Ohio State's got the best pass catchers. I think if you mix the tight ends in with Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, those guys they're unreal in my opinion. So I'm going to go Ohio State at wide receiver. O-line, I think it's Oregon. I think Ohio State has been playing well lately, but Oregon overall has been the better offensive line all year. I'm going to roll with Oregon. Defense, I think it's Ohio State. And when I was breaking down the analytics and deciding on what team I was going to pick here, it is closer than I originally thought. Oregon's a good defense, but I think Ohio State, one of the better units in the country, I'll lean them in this scenario. My final score prediction, who am I predicting to win this game? I think Ohio State is going to get revenge, 31-28. I think if they play like they did against Tennessee, I don't think anybody in the country can beat them. But will they ever play like that again? There's no telling. That might have been their limit, their upper limit. They may never play like that again. If they don't play their best, Oregon will definitely win the game. So just keep that in mind. Oregon won the first matchup at home in Eugene by 1 point. And I feel like Ohio State outplayed them most of the game. regardless, the better team doesn't always win. And that could be the case again on, Wednesday? That could be the case again. Oregon could win again. Let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to win this game. Is it going to be Ohio State with revenge, or Oregon going to double dip them and put them out of the playoff and potentially keep Ryan Day's seat hot heading into next year? I don't know. You guys let me know. But anyway, it's been your boy TTG. Can't wait for these playoffs coming up. We got some more bowl games coming up as well. Enjoy.